Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Best English Podcast. I'm Sophia, your host for today. If you're new to our channel, I want to say that. You didn't find us by accident. You're here because you want to grow, to learn, to become a better version of yourself. And you're not alone on that journey. We share meaningful educational videos every single day because we believe that a little knowledge shared with love can truly change lives. We regularly share new podcast episodes designed to help you improve your English fluency and confidence step by step. So if you're ready to take that next step, to learn something new, to feel inspired, and to believe in your own potential, then stay with us. Subscribe and let's walk this path of growth together. One day at a time. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel like your head is full of English, full of grammar rules, vocabulary lists, and things you've studied for years, but when you open your mouth to speak, nothing comes out? Or maybe just a few broken sentences? It's like being trapped behind a wall of silence. And it's one of the most frustrating feelings for an English learner. I once had a student named Maria who told me she felt like she had all the ingredients to cook a beautiful meal, but she didn't know the recipe to put them together. I had another student, let's call him Silent Sam, who was so intelligent and could write brilliant essays in English. But he rarely spoke in class. When I asked him why, he said, "Sophia, I'm terrified of my accent. I know I don't sound like a native speaker, and I'm afraid people will laugh or won't understand me." If you've ever felt like Maria, who knows the words but not the flow, or like Sam, who is silenced by the fear of imperfection, I want you to know that today is a turning point. We are going to learn the recipe. And we are going to prove that connection is always more important than perfection. Today, we are going to break down that wall, together. This isn't just another listening lesson. This is your personal speaking workout. We're going to dive deep into the kind of real, everyday English that native speakers, particularly in the USA, use without even thinking. The friendly chats you have with a neighbor, the simple questions you ask at a cafe, the natural flow that makes a conversation feel alive. We will listen, we will understand, and most importantly, you will speak. So, before we jump in, I have a small request. Find a place where you can speak out loud, even if it's just a whisper. Your voice is the key to unlocking your fluency. And if you are serious about improving your English every single day, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notifications. We are here daily to help you on this journey, and I wouldn't want you to miss a single step. Remember, our goal today isn't perfection, it's connection. It's about feeling the rhythm of English and making it your own. So, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's get ready to transform your English speaking skills. Starting right now. Before we get into our practice conversations, I want to build a really strong foundation with you. I want to talk about the mindset of a confident English speaker. I call this mindset the 3 C's of confidence: curiosity, courage, and consistency. Mastering these 3 ideas will change not just how you speak, but how you feel about speaking. First, let's talk about curiosity. Have you ever noticed that the most interesting people are often the most interested people? Great conversationalists are naturally curious. They are genuinely interested in the person they are talking to. When you approach a conversation with curiosity, it takes all the pressure off of you. You don't have to worry about being interesting. Your job is simply to be interested. Instead of thinking, what should I say next? You start thinking, what can I learn about this person? Curiosity is the engine of great questions. It's what pushes you to ask things like, oh, you're a graphic designer? That's fascinating. What kind of projects do you enjoy working on the most? Or, you mentioned you went hiking. I've never been to that park before. What's the trail like? When you are curious, you listen more actively, and people love to talk to good listeners. So, your first mission is to switch from a mindset of performance to a mindset of curiosity. The second C is courage, specifically the courage to be imperfect. This is for all the silent Sams out there. The number one reason learners don't speak is the fear of making mistakes. But let me tell you a secret. Even native speakers make mistakes. We use the wrong word. We start a sentence and forget how to finish it. We stumble over our words. It's a natural part of speaking. The difference is, we don't care. We just correct ourselves and move on. I want you to give yourself that same permission. The courage to be imperfect means you value communication more than you value perfection. You understand that a conversation with a few small grammar errors is 1,000,000 times better than no conversation at all. Courage means opening your mouth even when you're not 100% sure if the sentence is correct. It's in those moments of brave imperfection that real learning happens. The third and most important C is consistency. Learning to speak English fluently is exactly like building a muscle at the gym. If you go to the gym for 5 hours on one Saturday, but then don't go again for a whole month, you won't see much progress. But if you go for just 20 minutes every single day, you will become stronger. Consistency is the magic ingredient. 20 minutes of speaking practice every day is far more powerful than a long study session once a week. Consistency builds habits. It trains your brain and your mouth to work together smoothly. It makes English a part of your daily routine, not a special event. So, as we go through today's practice, I want you to hold these 3 C's in your mind. Be curious about the people you talk to, have the courage to make mistakes, and promise yourself that you will practice consistently, even if it's just for a little while each day. With that strong mindset in place, let's talk about the practical tool we use to start these conversations. Small talk. As we discussed, in American culture, small talk is the essential social lubricant. It's the friendly knock on the door. To make it even easier for you, I want to expand on our S.A.F.E framework. Remember, S.A.F.E stands for Surroundings, Activities, Food, and Entertainment. Let's look at a whole menu of conversation starters for each category. For S, surroundings, you can comment on the weather. It looks like we might get some rain later, doesn't it? This is my favorite kind of autumn weather. You can comment on the location. They've really decorated this place nicely for the holidays. This library is huge. I could spend all day in here. You can also give a compliment. By the way, I love your shoes. Your dog is absolutely adorable. What breed is it? For A, activities, you can ask about their job. So, what do you do for a living? How long have you been working in that field? You can talk about hobbies. I noticed you have a yoga mat. Do you practice often? What do you like to do to relax on the weekends? You can talk about recent events. Did you end up going to that street festival last weekend? How was your trip to Chicago? I saw your photos. It looked amazing. For F, food, You can ask for recommendations. I'm new to this neighborhood. Do you know any good places to get a burger around here? I'm trying to decide what to order. Have you had the salmon here before? You can comment on food at an event. Whoever made this guacamole is a genius. Was. These little cheesecakes are dangerously good. And for E, entertainment, you can talk about shows and movies. Have you seen that new documentary about the national parks? I've heard it's a must-see. I'm looking for a new show to watch. Any recommendations? You can talk about books or music. What kind of music are you into? Have you read any good books lately? Having this rich menu of options should help you feel prepared for almost any small talk situation. Remember the goal: light, positive, and open-ended. While the S.A.F.E framework gives you plenty to talk about, it's also important to know what topics to generally avoid during initial small talk in the U.S. These topics are usually things that are too personal, too controversial, or too negative. You typically want to avoid deep conversations about politics, religion, or personal finances with people you don't know well. You also want to avoid complaining too much. While a small shared complaint can sometimes create a bond like, ugh, the traffic was terrible this morning, constant negativity can make the other person feel uncomfortable. Finally, avoid asking overly personal questions about someone's age, weight, or relationship status, unless you know them very well. The goal is to keep the conversation light, positive, and comfortable for everyone. Okay, with that deeper understanding of American small talk, let's get ready for our main practice. We're going to listen to a full conversation between our two American neighbors, Logan and Ava. As you listen, try to identify the safe topics they use. Notice how they start with their surroundings, move to food, and then to activities. This will help you see the framework in action. So, Logan might start by saying, "Hey there, Ava. How's your day going?" And Ava would reply, "Oh, hey, Logan. It's been pretty good, thanks. I was just about to do some gardening. How about yours?" Logan then says, "Not bad at all. I just finished up my yard work, and it feels great to be outside on a day like this." Ava agrees. "I totally agree. The weather is just perfect. Your lawn is looking fantastic, by the way. So green. And I love what you've done with the flower beds by the fence." "Are those peonies?" Logan replies. "Thank you for noticing. I've been trying a new fertilizer this year. Yes, those are peonies, and the purple ones are lavender. Your new paint job looks amazing too. That soft gray color is really modern and makes the house look so fresh." Ava says, "Thanks. Thanks so much. It was definitely about time for a change. It's incredible how a fresh coat of paint can completely transform a place, isn't it?" Logan agrees and transitions. "It really is. Oh, by the way, speaking of new things, have you had a chance to try that new coffee shop that opened downtown? The one called The Daily Grind?" Ava is curious. "You know, I haven't yet, but I've heard great things about it from a few people. Is it worth the hype?" Logan gives his recommendation. "I think so. I went there last weekend and had an amazing iced latte. The ambiance is really cool too, very relaxed, with lots of comfortable chairs. It's a perfect spot to get some work done or just chill out." Ava is convinced. "Okay, you've convinced me. I'll have to check it out soon. Thanks for the recommendation. So, any fun plans for the upcoming weekend?" Logan shares his plans. "Not really. Probably just taking it easy." Maybe a trip to the farmer's market on Saturday morning and some grocery shopping. How about you? And Ava shares hers. I'm thinking of going for a hike if the weather holds up. There's a beautiful trail up at the state park that I've been wanting to explore. Logan responds, Oh, that sounds like a perfect weekend plan. I hope the weather cooperates so you can enjoy it. The forecast looked pretty good, I think. Ava says, Thanks, fingers crossed. Well, I should probably get going and let you get to your gardening. It was really nice catching up with you. And they end the conversation politely. Logan says, Absolutely, we should do this more often. Have a wonderful rest of your day and have a great time on your hike if you go. Ava replies, You too, Ava. Take care and see you around. And finally, Bye, Logan. All right, let's begin our deep dive analysis. We are going to dissect this conversation like a masterclass. Let's look at Logan's opener. Hey there, Ava. How's your day going? This is a simple, friendly greeting and a question about her day so far. It's casual, warm, and opens the door for a conversation without being demanding. Hey there is softer than a direct hello. For a pronunciation tip, in going, make sure you're not saying a hard G at the end. It's a soft ing sound from the back of your throat. Other ways to say this are, How's everything going? How have you been? A very casual, What's going on? How are things? Or, Hope you're having a good day. Now for Ava's response. Oh, hey Logan. It's been pretty good, thanks. I was just about to do some gardening. How about yours? This is a perfect response because she acknowledges him, answers briefly, adds a little bit of personal information, and then, most importantly, she keeps the conversation going by asking, How about yours? This shows she is engaged. For grammar, it's been pretty good uses the present perfect tense because the question refers to a period of time, today, that is still continuing. For pronunciation, the phrase about yours often links together, sounding like about yours. Instead of pretty good, she could have said, It's going well, thanks. Or can't complain, which is an informal way of saying things are good, or so far, so good. Next, Ava's compliment. I totally agree. The weather is just perfect. Your lawn is looking fantastic, by the way. So green. This is a fantastic compliment because it's specific. Specificity makes compliments feel sincere. She doesn't just say, Your yard looks nice. She mentions the lawn and its green color. For cultural context, in many American suburbs, maintaining a nice lawn and garden is a point of pride. Complimenting someone's yard work is a very common and appreciated form of small talk. Other ways to give a compliment would be, Wow, you have a real green thumb, which is a wonderful idiom that means you are very good at gardening. You could also say, The work you put into your garden really shows it's beautiful, or I'm so impressed with your flowers. Now, Logan's reply and returned compliment. Thank you for noticing. Your new paint job looks amazing too. That soft gray color is really modern. Thank you for noticing is a wonderful, warm way to accept a compliment. It acknowledges the other person's observation. Returning the compliment creates a positive, balanced exchange. This brings us to a skill focus on receiving a compliment. Many learners feel awkward. The best way to respond is simply and sincerely. You can say, Thank you, that's very kind of you to say. Thanks, I'm glad you like it. Or, Thank you so much, that means a lot. Avoid denying the compliment. Just accept it with a smile. Let's look at Logan's transition. Oh, by the way, speaking of new things, have you had a chance to try that new coffee shop? Speaking of is a high-level transition phrase. It allows you to pivot the conversation smoothly by linking it to a keyword from the previous sentence. Other transition phrases you could also use are, that reminds me. For example, you mentioning your garden reminds me I need to buy some flowers. Or a more direct, changing the subject for a second. Now, Ava's question. Is it worth the hype? For a pronunciation tip, worth the can blend together. The tia sound in the can be soft. Listen. Worth the hype. Let's do a vocabulary deep dive. Hype is a noun that means intense promotion and excitement around something new. Asking, is it worth the hype? Is a very natural and modern way to ask if something is as good as its reputation. Other ways to ask include, is it as good as they say? Does it live up to the hype? Or, would you recommend it? Logan gives his opinion. The ambience is really cool too, very relaxed. A perfect spot to get some work done or just chill out. Let's look at the vocabulary. Ambience is the atmosphere of a place. To chill out is a very common informal phrasal verb, meaning to relax. And for the cultural context, coffee shops in the U.S. are much more than just places to get coffee. They are social hubs, remote offices, and places to relax. Describing the ambience is just as important as describing the coffee itself. Next, Ava's transition to weekend plans. So, any fun plans for the upcoming weekend? This is a classic, safe, and friendly way to keep a conversation going. Here's a grammar spotlight. She uses any because it's a question. In positive statements, you would use some. For example, I have some fun plans. The phrase upcoming weekend is a nice alternative to this weekend. Logan mentions the farmer's market. For cultural context, farmers markets have become very popular in the U.S. They are not just places to buy fresh local food. They are community events, often with live music and a festive atmosphere. It's a very common weekend activity. Finally, Logan's ending. Well, I should probably get going. It was really nice catching up with you. This is the perfect polite exit formula. Well, signals the end. I should get going, states the intention. He gives a considerate reason. Let you get to your gardening. And he ends with a positive summary of the chat. Other ways to end a conversation. Anyway, I won't keep you any longer. Or, it was great talking to you, but I've got to run some errands. Or, all right, I'd better get back to it. Talk to you soon. Now, let's do a practice exercise together. I want you to listen and repeat. This is a technique called shadowing, and it's incredibly powerful. I will say a line from the conversation, and I want you to repeat it right after me. Try to copy my pronunciation, my tone, and my rhythm exactly. Are you ready? Let's begin. Repeat after me. Hey there, Ava. How's your day going? Repeat after me. Oh, hey, Logan. It's been pretty good, thanks. Repeat after me. Your lawn is looking fantastic, by the way. Repeat after me. Thank you for noticing. Repeat after me. Is it worth the hype? Repeat after me. It was really nice catching up with you. Ha! Brilliant! I hope you're feeling how these phrases start to become more natural as you say them out loud. But wait. Before we truly finish for today, I feel you're ready for more. We've mastered the fundamentals of small talk. Now let's take your conversational skills from good to truly great. we're going to enter the advanced level of this masterclass, focusing on 3 new core concepts: storytelling, empathy, and navigating tricky situations. First, let's talk about the power of storytelling. The most memorable and charismatic people are almost always great storytellers. Stories are how we make sense of the world, and they are the most powerful tool for building a deep connection with another person. Think about it. You can give someone a list of facts, or you can tell them a story that illustrates those facts. Which one will they remember tomorrow? The story, every time. A simple story can make you more persuasive in a job interview, more engaging on a date, and more relatable to your friends and colleagues. Every great story has 3 simple parts: the hook, the journey, and the point. The hook is the opening that grabs the listener's attention. The journey is the sequence of events, what happened. And the point is the conclusion or the lesson learned. We'll practice this soon. Next, the art of empathy. This is what separates a basic conversationalist from a truly wonderful one. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's about listening not just to their words, but to the emotions behind the words. When a friend shares good news, empathy is celebrating with them enthusiastically. When a friend shares bad news, empathy is sitting with them in their sadness, not trying to fix it. We'll learn the specific phrases that communicate empathy and make people feel truly seen and heard. Finally, we'll cover navigating tricky situations. These are the moments that make even native speakers nervous. Forgetting someone's name, needing to politely interrupt a conversation, or trying to disagree with someone without starting an argument. Knowing how to handle these moments gracefully is a sign of a truly advanced and confident speaker. So, let's begin this new module. First up, the power of storytelling. Starting with a very common and important scenario, the job interview. Imagine you are in a job interview. The interviewer, let's call him Mr. Harris, asks you a classic question. He says, "Tell me about a time you faced a challenge at work and how you overcame it." This is a direct invitation to tell a story. A poor answer would be a list of facts. A great answer is a story with a hook, a journey, and a point. Let's listen to how a great answer might sound. An applicant might say, "Of course. In my previous role, we were facing a major challenge with our project deadlines. The team's morale was low because we were consistently working late to catch up, but we kept falling further behind. It was a classic bottleneck issue. I took the initiative to analyze our workflow. I realized that the approval process for small tasks was taking several days, which was holding everything up. So I proposed a new system where tasks under a certain budget could be approved directly by the team lead. I created a short presentation to explain the benefits, showing that it would save us an estimated 10 hours per week. After implementing the new process, we not only started meeting our deadlines, but we actually finished our next project 3 days ahead of schedule. Team morale improved significantly, and it taught me that sometimes the biggest challenges can be solved by looking for the small inefficiencies in a system. That is a powerful story. Let's analyze it with our new framework. The hook was, we were facing a major challenge with our project deadlines. It's clear and direct. The journey was the description of the problem of low morale, identifying the specific bottleneck, and explaining the concrete steps taken to solve it. Analyzing, proposing a new system, and creating a presentation. Notice the use of professional active vocabulary like took the initiative, analyzed our workflow, and proposed a new system. The point was the amazing result. Finished 3 days ahead of schedule. And the valuable lesson learned. This story makes the applicant sound competent, proactive, and intelligent. Now, let's do a practice. I want you to think of a small challenge you have faced. It could be from work, school, or even a personal project. I am going to ask you the question as if I were the interviewer, Mr. Harris. I want you to try and answer out loud using the hook journey point structure. Don't worry about being perfect. Just try to tell the story. You can start with, certainly, in my last project, or I remember one time when. Ready? So, tell me about a time you faced a challenge and how you overcame it. Excellent. The more you practice telling your professional stories, the more confident you will become in interviews. Now, let's switch to a completely different kind of story. The casual, catching up with a friend story. This type of story is not about proving a point. It's about entertaining and connecting. Let's imagine our characters David and Sarah are meeting for coffee. Sarah might ask, "So, what's new with you? Anything exciting happened lately?" And David could tell this story. "Oh, you are not going to believe what happened to me last weekend. So I decided to finally build that bookshelf for the living room. You know, the one I've been talking about for months?" Sarah would naturally ask. "Oh yeah, how did that go?" And David would continue. "Well, I went to the hardware store and bought all the wood, the screws, everything. I was so confident. I get home, I lay everything out, I have the instructions. And I realize the instructions are in a language I don't understand at all. Not a single word of English. Sarah would be surprised. "No way. What did you do?" David would explain. "I tried using one of those translation apps on my phone, but it was translating things like insert wooden sky sausage into the earth biscuit. It was complete nonsense. So, for the next 3 hours, I was just looking at the pictures, trying to build this thing like it was some ancient puzzle. The crazy part was, I was actually making progress. But then, long story short, I get to the very last step, and I realize I've put the main shelf in upside down." Sarah would say, "Oh no," and David would finish the story. "Exactly. So, my beautiful, expensive new bookshelf is now a very fancy, very sturdy cat bed. The cat loves it, though. This is a great example of a casual story. Let's analyze it. The hook. You are not going to believe what happened to me last weekend. This is a classic hook that creates immediate curiosity. The journey. He builds the story with funny details. He uses casual language like "no way," and the crazy part was, he uses the phrase "long story short" to skip to the end, the point. The punchline is that his bookshelf is now a cat bed. The point is not a serious lesson. The point is just to be funny and entertaining. Now it's your turn. Think of a small, funny, or frustrating thing that happened to you recently. I want you to tell me the story out loud. Imagine I'm your friend Sarah. I'll give you the opening line. "So, what's new with you? Anything exciting happened lately?" Try starting with, "You'll never guess what happened to me." Go ahead. I'm sure that was a great story. Practicing these small personal stories is how you become a more engaging and fun person to talk to in English. Now that we've explored storytelling, let's move on to our second advanced topic, the art of empathy. This is about how you respond to what other people tell you. Your response can either build a connection or break it. Let's start with responding to good news. Imagine your colleague, Jessica, comes to you looking very excited. She says, "Oh my gosh, I have to tell you something. I just found out I got the promotion." A great empathetic response would be, "What? That's fantastic news, Jessica. I am so incredibly happy for you. Congratulations." Jessica might say, "Thank you so much. I'm still in shock." And you could continue with, "You totally deserve it. All of your hard work has finally paid off. We should all go out for lunch to celebrate." Let's analyze this empathetic response. You didn't just say, "Congrats," you showed strong, positive emotion. "That's fantastic news. I am so incredibly happy for you." You validated her success. "You totally deserve it. All of your hard work has finally paid off." And you suggested a celebration which extends the positive moment. This is how you build strong, supportive relationships. Now, let's practice. Imagine I am your colleague, Jessica. I'm going to share some good news, and I want you to respond with enthusiasm and support out loud. Ready? "Oh my gosh, I have to tell you something. I just found out I got the promotion." That was a wonderful response. Now, let's look at the other side, which is even more important, responding to bad news. This is where true friendship and empathy are tested. Imagine your friend, Michael, seems very down and stressed. He says, "Hey, sorry, I'm a bit distracted today. It's just been a really tough week at work." A good response would be, "Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. What's been going on?" He might explain, "I just feel completely overwhelmed. We have this huge deadline, and I don't think we're going to make it." And you could say, "Wow, that sounds really stressful. I can only imagine the pressure you're under." He agrees. "Yeah, it's a lot." And you can offer support. "Well, listen, I'm here for you if you need to vent or just talk it through. Is there anything at all I can do to help? Even just grabbing you a coffee?" Let's analyze this. This is a masterclass in empathy. First, what did you not do? You didn't say, "Don't worry," which can feel dismissive. You didn't say, "It could be worse," which invalidates his feelings. And you didn't jump in with unsolicited advice like, "You should do this." Here's what you did do. You started with a simple, kind expression of sympathy. "Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that." You asked an open question to invite him to share more. "What's been going on?" You validated his feelings. "Wow, that sounds really stressful." This phrase is incredibly powerful. You expressed solidarity. "I can only imagine the pressure you're under." And finally, you offered support without being pushy. "I'm here for you. Is there anything I can do to help?" This response shows you are a true friend. Now let's practice this difficult but crucial skill. Imagine I am your friend, Michael. I will share my problem, and I want you to respond with empathy out loud. Ready? "Hey, sorry, I'm a bit distracted today. It's just been a really tough week at work." That was a perfect, empathetic response. Mastering this skill will make you a beloved friend and a respected colleague in any language. Finally, let's cover our third advanced module, navigating tricky situations. Let's look at a common one, politely disagreeing. Imagine you and your friend Ava just saw a movie and you have different opinions. Ava starts by saying, "Wow, that movie was incredible. One of the best I've seen all year." Instead of arguing, you could say, "That's interesting. I can see why you'd say that. The special effects were amazing. For me, though, the story felt a little weak. Ava might be surprised. Really? I thought the story was really clever, and you can respond gracefully. I can appreciate that. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mood for it, but I'm glad you enjoyed it so much. This is a beautiful example of polite disagreement. Let's analyze it. You didn't say, "No, you're wrong." Instead, you started by finding a point of agreement. The special effects were amazing. This is called a validation statement. Then, you gently introduced your different opinion using soft language. For me, though, the story felt a little weak. When she pushes back, you don't argue. You simply say, "I can appreciate that," which respects her opinion without changing your own. You end by saying, "I'm glad you enjoyed it," which prioritizes the friendship over winning the argument. Now let's practice. Imagine I am Ava. I will share my strong positive opinion, and I want you to politely disagree out loud using the formula. Validate, then state your different opinions softly. Ready? Wow, that movie was incredible. One of the best I've seen all year. That was so diplomatic and skillful. This is a very high-level communication skill, but the advanced modules don't stop there. Let's go even deeper. Let's talk about the nuances of American English, the subtle things that can make a big difference. We'll start with understanding indirectness. Americans, despite a reputation for being direct, can often be very indirect, especially when making requests or declining invitations. Let's look at a scenario, the indirect request. Imagine a colleague, Kate, needs help from her coworker, Mike. A direct request would be, "Mike, can you help me with this report?" But that can sometimes sound demanding. Let's listen to how Kate might do it indirectly. She would start, "Hey, Mike, do you have a second?" Mike would say, "Sure, what's up?" And Kate would explain her problem. "I was just looking at this quarterly report. Wow, the deadline is so tight. I'm a bit swamped trying to get all the data formatted correctly." Mike might say, "Yeah, those reports can be a real beast." Kate would agree. "Tell me about it. Well, anyway, I'll let you get back to it." And then Mike, understanding the social cue, would offer, "Hey, wait! Do you need a hand with the formatting? I have about an hour free. Let's analyze this." Kate never directly asked for help. She stated her problem, the tight deadline, being swamped, and the formatting issue. This is an indirect request. She is hinting that she needs help. Mike, understanding this, offers his help. This is a very common dance in American workplaces. So, how can you make an indirect request? You can use phrases like, "I was wondering if you could possibly take a look at this," or, "I don't suppose you'd have time to help me with something, would you?" These phrases soften the request. Now, let's look at the other side, declining an invitation politely. This is a skill everyone needs. Let's say your friend invites you to a party, but you're tired and just want to stay home. A bad response would be too direct and could sound rude, like, "No, I don't want to." A much better way is to use a technique I call the positive-negative positive sandwich. Your friend might say, "Hey, you should come to my party on Saturday." And you would reply, "Wow, thank you so much for inviting me. That sounds like it's going to be so much fun." Unfortunately, I already have a prior commitment that night that I can't get out of. I am so bummed that I'm going to miss it. Please take lots of pictures. I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing time. See how that works? You start with a positive statement. you deliver the bad news politely, and you end with another positive statement. This softens the no and shows you still value the person and their invitation. Let's move to another subtle skill: mastering filler words. Non-native speakers often think filler words like like, and are mistakes, but that's not true. When used correctly, they are a key part of sounding natural and fluent. They are the little pauses that give your brain time to think. And are simple hesitation markers. Well, is a useful transition filler. Is used to check for shared understanding. Like is very common in informal American English. And, is used for clarification. The key is to use these fillers naturally, not in every sentence. Let's practice. I'm going to give you a sentence, and I want you to say it out loud, adding a natural-sounding filler word. The sentence is, I think the best solution is to call them directly. Now try saying it starting with, well. Go ahead. Now try this sentence. He said he would be here at 7. Try saying it, but add like before the time. Go ahead. Practicing this helps you get a feel for the rhythm of natural speech. Now for our final and most powerful fluency technique: a masterclass on connected speech and shadowing. Connected speech is how native speakers link words together to speak smoothly and quickly. Shadowing is the technique of listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say in real time, like a shadow. It's the ultimate workout for your mouth and ears. Let's break down the key features of American connected speech. First is linking, especially a consonant sound to a vowel sound. We don't say pick it up, we say pick it up. Second is elision, which means dropping sounds. We often drop the T or the D sounds between two other consonants. For example, we don't say next door, we say next door. Third is assimilation, where sounds change when they meet. The most common example is did you, which becomes did you, want to, which becomes wanna, or going to, which becomes gonna. Fourth is the flapped, which we've discussed. When a T is between two vowel sounds, it turns into a soft D sound. Water becomes wader. Now, let's do a short shadowing exercise. I will say a sentence slowly, then at natural speed. I want you to repeat after me, trying to copy my sounds exactly. I will say, I want to get a cup of coffee. Now, at a natural speed, I would say, I want to get a cup of coffee. Try to repeat that. Let's try again. I will say, what are you going to do later? Naturally, that sounds like, what are you going to do later? Try repeating that one. This is the real music of American English. Now, let's do a longer shadowing practice. I will read a short paragraph. The first time, just listen. The second time, I want you to try and speak along with me, even if you can't keep up perfectly. Ready? First, just listen. Well, I was just walking down the street the other day, and I ran into an old friend from college. It was kind of crazy because I hadn't seen him in like 10 years. We ended up getting a cup of coffee and talking for about an hour. It's funny how you can just pick up right where you left off with some people. Okay, now get ready to speak with me. Try to match my speed and rhythm. Let's go. Well, I was just walking down the street the other day, and I ran into an old friend from college. It was kind of crazy because I hadn't seen him in like 10 years. We ended up getting a cup of coffee and talking for about an hour. It's funny how you can just pick up right where you left off with some people. How did you do? Shadowing is challenging, but it is the single most effective exercise for improving your pronunciation and fluency. As we bring this incredibly long, detailed, and I hope, incredibly valuable masterclass to a close, I want you to take a deep breath and just acknowledge the enormous amount of work you have done today. You have gone on a complete journey. From the basic mindset of confidence to the practical tools of small talk, all the way to the advanced arts of storytelling, empathy, and navigating difficult conversations. You have listened, you have analyzed, you have learned, you have spoken. This is the real work. This is what creates fluency. The journey to confident speaking is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's built on these small, consistent steps day after day. Remember our 3 C's: curiosity, courage, and consistency. Be curious about the world and the people around you. Have the courage to open your mouth and speak, even if you're afraid of making mistakes. And be consistent in your daily practice. So here is your final mission for this week, your grand call to action. I want you to try to complete 3 conversational tasks. First, have one conversation where you give someone a specific and sincere compliment, just like Ava and Logan did. Second, tell one small story, even if it's just to yourself, using the hook journey point structure. Third, the next time a friend shares news, good or bad, I want you to practice responding with true empathy. After you've done your mission, come back to this video and share which task was the most challenging or the most rewarding for you in the comments below. Let's fill the comment section with our experiences and support each other. Thank you so much for your incredible focus and for dedicating this time to your English growth. It has been a pleasure to guide you today here on Best English Podcast. If this deep dive lesson has been valuable for you, the single best way to support this channel is to hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and share this video with a friend who is also on their English learning journey. Until we meet again tomorrow for our next daily practice, keep your curiosity alive, be brave in your speaking, and be consistent in your efforts. You are building something amazing, one conversation at a time. This is Sophia, signing off. Take wonderful care of yourself, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye for now.